Howdy, y'all. Hope you're all having a clear-minded, brilliant autumn or spring, depending on where you are in the earth, and you're engaging with good people, or in perhaps sometimes solitude, thinking of the good things, or having a bit of both, having a bit of that every day, a balance. Anyways, I've moved out of Colorado and am now living out in the Ozarks, somewhere in the Arkansas, Missouri region. I don't need to be specific, but for those of you who haven't been to this region, by golly, some of these roads are as roller coaster as they can get out. I have never been in a place that's as consistently windy and roller coaster esque, goes from dynamic peaks all the way to the troughs and back up again. And both my partner and my daughter have already hurled since we've been out here, and only been out here for a little bit over a month. And slow to get the internet. Got that Starlink. I'll talk about that. That was a curious, interesting purchase, and I don't know if I entirely agree with what Starlink is, but that's another video. I purchased it, so we'll see how this goes. It's a bit of, what would you say, like astral pollution? Would that be? But then at the same time, I mean, there's already so much of that, and it doesn't. I don't know. I have to look more into that, but we'll talk about Starlink another time. In this video, I want to share a bit about my garden and like in the area we're in and why we moved here and so forth, and what's cool about it and how it really is a complete shift from the sort of mentality I'd been in for a long time. Really only living in small places or in a as part of a home that someone else ultimately made decisions on how things were ran, and having this change of this great change has shifted my perspective greatly. And there's so much to do out here. There's endless projects for us to take on. We got some acreage, a good like 6-7 acres, and what's amazing about it too is if so what happened was I got an inheritance from my aunt who passed away, the same one who I made a video about actually. And she, such a sweet lady. I made her a really wonderful painting, and we got to see her before she passed, a little bit before she passed, and it's great. She's such a jubilant spirit. But yeah, when she passed, my dad, or my non-bio dad, but the dad I grew up with, he gave me his inheritance. Supposed, I don't know exactly, but he gave me his inheritance to use towards a house. So we looked across the U.S. and we want to homestead and grow lots and lots of food and have space, but not be so tucked away, but not in the center of town. And I've lived my life in many different types of situations, country mouse, city mouse, and everything in between. And this place is like, it's like vacation-y country mouse. It has that kind of feel. And but there's so much depth to it, and I gotta share with some of the things that I've seen just walking around the grounds with some of the staffs that were left here to walk around with. And it's so cool. It's so neat. But what I wanted to make about that point was, uh, just that I was making prior about the inheritance, was that we could have gone anywhere in the U.S., but like to get what we got, to like the acreage, the space, the size of house for like a growing family. I've told you guys I have a child coming. My partner, we have a child coming this winter, this solstice, and around that time. And where this is my partner, my wife, she's at ease compared with our first, uh, because the space that we're in, I mean, it's amazing, night and day. We wanted to go through. I told that story before. We wanted to go through. We went through. We tried to go through midwives, and they wouldn't. They didn't show up. My wife, she was like 5 weeks early, and they were an hour away. They didn't show up. So then we had to go to the hospital, and it was BS. And then this time we're doing it on our own, and it's going to be great. And we have a great space for it, and she's so much more relaxed than last time around. And yeah, to all the mothers out there, especially the ones that are pregnant or about to be mothers, you'll be good. You'll be great. You don't need to go to the hospital whatsoever. There's so much. There's wealth of information out there, and they try to scare you on all fronts. And if you go to the hospital, there's a likelihood that you will be abused and bad things can happen. We are fortunate that my daughter is healthy, and yeah, we got out there with minimal damage as far as we know. It's creepy. But changing the pages, um, the space that we got, like in so many other places in the U.S., you wouldn't be able to get near this, and it's because there's such a great valuation on proximity to all the stores and shows and all of this. And I don't understand it why people don't like peace and quiet and like that kind of person, the city mouse type person. And it's just peculiar, but that's another video as well. Here we got a sarsaparilla tree, sorry, a sassafras tree and a cherry tree, a couple cherry trees out there, a little chicken coop beyond. We're gonna have chickens. That'll be a lot of fun. We plan on giving the eggs to the local armadillo. He came by on the Hunter Moon we just had the 17th. In the evening, it had been about a month since we had been here, and that was his little introduction, his greeting. We had seen his burrows throughout the garden, and he came out to see us. So that was pretty cool. So the garden's all fenced in. There's probably it's probably like I don't know, like a half acre, quarter acre, something like that. Maybe half acre in the middle of the whole like 7 acre place, and there's just so many different areas to explore, and we want to do a lot with it. We want to have maybe people camping out here, and we want to grow, obviously, like I said, grow lots of food. And um, my partner is an herbalist, so heal people as well and empower people to heal themselves. That's what the best thing you can do. Free healthcare worldwide, because the knowledge is freely spread, and there's always going to be some la medicina, some medicine woman in your in your household, because we're empowering all women, right? Let's do that. There's a pear tree here. Excited to see if we can get some apple tree here. Also stoked to see if we'll get some. And yeah, it's peculiar being out there in the grounds. There's all sorts of animals that aren't present in all sorts of animals that weren't present in the Northeast or anywhere else I've been. Northeast, where I grew up most of my life of America, grew up most of my life. But this region, there's a wealth of life and so much to explore. There's tarantulas. The tarantula mating season's going on now. I've seen a couple tarantulas in the road. Those are really trippy and interesting. Apparently, the females can live up to 30 years. They're amazing. This was a funny little bit. I'll have to share a couple videos at the end. But this top piece of this fountain that I flipped over and made into a mushroom fountain, if you will. I found out it was a little persimmon grove, and they're getting hit by the tent caterpillars. Those persimmons, we took a lot of those tent caterpillars off, and I pulled out this, and underneath it was a black widow spider, and it was the first one I found, and I found many since around the grounds, and it had its first four limbs straight up in the air, as if to announce, "Hey, you better know that I'm here. And be careful, because I can, do some damage." Um, and she was calm, she was cool, but that was just I've never seen a spider behave in such a manner. They're such an interesting creatures, and none of the other ones I found did such things that did that. But I think that one was one of the smallest ones I'd found, and that behavior was unique. I've never seen a spider do that, lift the first four limbs in the air and hold them up as if to say, "Hey, be wary of me." Really interesting, and we got lots to do, lots to plan in this garden. So one of the first things that happened was that we noticed from being here was the black walnuts. They're super fragrant, almost citrus-like in their aroma. I had some growing up in New England in our yard. There was a couple of them, and rather Connecticut to be more specific. And they weren't as big as these. These are enormous. and they're great for removing parasites. They're great antiseptic. They're phenomenal. And if you get under the hole, you can eat the walnut itself. So we're gonna process a lot of these. We have so many of these, and yeah, we have too many if you're in the area. I don't know how these travel, but well, walnuts probably travel fine. But the holes, the anti-parasitic holes, you can just tell by once you smell them how strong they are. Can't recommend that enough. And then if you have any sort of like psoriasis or any sort of skin ailments, if you haven't tried thyme yet, THYME, if you haven't tried that yet, there's this stuff I've used lately called Time Out. Not trying to like give them a plug, but oh my goodness, it's done wonders for my little rashes and such. Um, but yeah, black walnut's a more powerful anti-parasitic, and I've had parasites in the past, so definitely look into this if you have strange feelings about or strange anxieties that you feel like come from nowhere. I think parasites might play into that. So then, yeah, another pear. I think we got pears, apples, peach. We have one peach. This is the peach here, right in front of the chicken coop. Not showing you pictures of the house just cause I don't know, but maybe as we go further, I'll be more open to stuff like that. Um, Peaches, pears, all sorts of fruit. I think there might be some plums, but they might be ornamental in the back of the garden. And we want to grow. We got all these seeds. We're gonna grow watermelon. We're gonna grow cucumbers. Virtually the entire catalog of the garden place we visited earlier today. Baker Seeds, if you're familiar, out in Mansfield. Amazing space. You guys should check it out. Baker's got it. They have a wonderful space. They have this experimental garden out front where they try different things out, see how they look and grow, and it's pretty neat. I think it's like 200 acres out there or something. It's really cool. A blueberry. I forgot. We're gonna make a little berry orchard of sorts. And then we want to grow goji berries and elderberries and yeah, like medicine for ourselves. Like isn't that what we should be doing? So my thoughts with, inheritance, or like if you somehow come into contact with funds, or you earn funds from doing great works over the time, and people give you credit for your work. But for some reason, I feel like in my life, maybe I'm wrong on this front, but I feel like I've done ample amount of work, and I feel like it's yielded not near what it has been worth based on like my skill level for what I'm doing. And money is a screwy thing, and we've got to be very frugal, I think, if we're not in this club, and I think get off of it ultimately, because mark of the beast and all that comes. It's like money doesn't mean anything, and just obvious truths if that's to continue. But in the meantime, I'm gonna be living like it's 1880, 1890, and growing food and learning more about all the animals out here. There's been these phasmids, the stick bugs. They're so interesting. I think I got a video up ahead of the stick bug here. There we go. Yeah, like climbing up the oak tree right over the garden. They are so interesting. That's a female. So I actually walked in on a couple stick bug love sessions. You ever play Viva Pinata? It's like a fun little Xbox game, I think. And there's that stick bug. Look at him go up that tree. He's so quick. She's so quick, rather. Yeah, in that Viva Pinata game, you can have the animals get together and they just dance, but it's hilarious because yeah, it's the dance of life, right? Yeah, as with pretty much all insects, the dude is tiny and the female is giant. And a lot of fish too. Been wondering about the anglerfish. Those are interesting. Are they real? I think they're real, but I always gotta be skeptical about deep sea fish. So then I got a couple of videos to share with you. Here's a black widow that I carried from behind. I have a little shop, and carried the black widow across the way to the forest perimeter later down. It was yeah. I'll see if I can. There you go. Big deal, but for me, learning about these as a child and being fascinated with them. I mean, she's cool. I don't have any problem with her. I'm just taking her to a spot that she can enjoy. I have no problems with her. I think we get along already. Let's take her to another spot. She can go out in the forest. She's not near the garden. Like accidentally the baby wanders over and, hits her on the head. We don't have that situation here. But this is like the coolest thing. She's so pretty. I'm gonna put her up in this tree over here. Sorry. There you can kind of see that. Sorry, I'm not a great one-handed videographer. There she is. I think the focus comes in. That's too focused. Oh, you can kind of. Oh, she's moving. Oh. All right, I'm gonna put her up right here. Okay, she's got a perfect spot. That's perfect. See her right back in there under the leaf. There she is. Now, I love spiders. I've always been fascinated by them. And I have a few ideas about making a spider. Alright, so there you go. Black widows, man. They are something else. And then, what is this? Oh, no, it's that one. And then, yeah. Here's like a close-up shot of one. Mesmerizing creatures. The svelte black legs, and the way they behave is so different from most spiders because they realize they are probably, at least in this area, outside of the tarantulas, the bigger spiders. And even then, I don't think they mess with each other. The black widows really can dictate how things go, but they choose to hide in these dark spaces, like underneath leaf piles, underneath stones. I had to move all this masonry, all this stonework. And then I found a few under there, and there was a tiger swallowtail caterpillar, and it was in cocoon form. I have a picture to show you of that. And I mean, just look at them. They're so peculiar. It almost looks like they don't have any hair on them. They do, but it's so subtle. It's just amazing that they exist. But yeah, here's the tiger swallowtail, and it's in mid cocoon, and it was underneath a little stone, and they make beautiful. They're amazing, and all this is out here to enjoy and explore. And there's no reason to fret about things that you cannot control. It's almost like the darkness of this world. There's no need to entertain it. I guess maybe is probably the word, or a phrase that you could say, because if you are not committing to it or doing it yourself, then the obvious answer is to cease, and there's no reason to go beyond or to dig deeper into it. So in resolving the darkness of the shadow, the things that cannot be controlled, that aren't necessarily true, or even the ones that are true, the evil things that are out there, why bring that into your fold if you can bring in love, if you can bring in tenderness into things that you can control, not a vacuous pit? So people, it makes sense. We need to continue to thrive by encouraging life wherever we see it, and providing guidance to others to aid in the encouragement of life in various facets, because some might have it in a musical sense, Some might be able to do it through creatures. Some may have it in spades, and wherever they go, flowers are blooming. Wherever they go, birds are chittering, and there's so much good communication going on because they're a nexus point of and knowledge and a vibrance for life. So we need to continue to create this ceaselessly, and then it will be a blur in the past. These days of confusion where we were under spells. So to remove spells, we must go back to the source and understand the source in depth without all the facts and figures and characters that you can't control. It must be felt. It must be primary source. So with that, much to come. God bless you, and have a wondrous day, or a slumberful sleep. All right. Talk to you soon.